Here at the driver's area, you can see we have an automatic transmission, tilt steering wheel. On the left side we have power mirrors that are also heated. And then down on the door we have power windows and power locks. The power locks will only lock and unlock the cab doors. You'll have to use your key to open and close the main entry door for the RV. Over here at the center of the dash we have controls for dashboard heating and air conditioning. This will heat and cool only the driver and passenger. For the rest of the coach, you'll have to use the thermostat for the furnace or air conditioner, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. Up here we have a rear view camera. When you shift the RV into reverse, the camera will come on. You can see behind you its color, and if you press the power button on this monitor, the monitor will stay on and you've got a rear view camera on the monitor as long as you're running the engine. The overcab bed area folds flat to allow room for two persons to sleep. At the end of the fold over cushion is a set of brackets where you can attach this ladder for access. This ladder just stows up in the bed area when not in use. Above the cab is a TV with a side-load DVD player. The TV will operate as long as you have the coach plugged into shore power or if you have the generator running. Above the recliner we have the main control panel. At this panel we can control our power electric shade awning. You can see the button says in or out. To operate the electric shade awning for the patio, the RV must be parked with the engine off and the parking brake set. To extend the awning, press and hold the out button until the awning completely extends. Retract it by pressing the in button and holding that until it comes firmly against the walls of the RV. Make sure that you retract the awning before driving the RV and if you're experiencing windy conditions. On this panel we have our slide out room control. You can press and hold the in button or the out button to extend or retract the slide room. The slide room will not move unless you have the parking brake set, the transmission in park, and the ignition key in the on position without the engine running. This panel allows us to check the levels of our holding tanks, including fresh water, gray water, black water, and propane. If we press the fresh water button, it will indicate how much fresh water we have remaining in the tank. It's common for gray water and black water tanks to show something other than empty even if you've just emptied them. That's because there are sensors in the tanks that indicate capacity when they're wet, and if you've just emptied the tanks, the sensors are probably still wet. Up here at the top left we have a water heater switch. You turn the water heater on, you see the fault lamp come on. The fault lamp will go out and the water heater will light. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes before you have hot water ready to use. Down here we have a water pump switch. We can turn the water pump off or on. That provides pressurized water to every water outlet inside the motorhome, every sink, toilet, and shower, until the water supply is expensed. If you have the RV hooked up to a hose, you don't need to use your water pump. At this station we can also start and stop the generator. To start the generator, press and hold the on button. The generator cranks, and when it starts and runs, this light will remain solid, indicating that the generator is operating. This is the generator hour meter right here. You can run the generator while you're driving. It will support roof air conditioning, all of your outlet power inside, and it will charge your batteries. The generator is gasoline and it runs off of the main fuel tank, but only if you have more than a quarter tank of fuel remaining. This is an auxiliary battery disconnect. We recommend leaving this on during your entire trip. The only reason to turn this off is for long-term storage. The recliner has a Velcro strap that keeps it from moving around and beating things up while the vehicle's in motion. We ask that you reattach that strap to stow it during travel. The dinette booth converts to a bed to sleep up to 2 persons. To do this, you first need to remove the bottom and back cushions from the booths. You can just set them aside for now. Next, you'll need to retract the table into the bed position. There's a release underneath the table right here. We just release that, slide it to the left, and then we can take the table and push straight down. The table will land on these cleats underneath these cushions. That will form a platform area upon which you can put these bottom cushions over the top of the table. Then you can lay these back cushions flat on either side, and that will form your bed area. The microwave operates off of shore power or generator only. Below the microwave you've got a 3-burner cooktop. To use the cooktop, first select the burner that you'd like to operate and turn it to high light. Next, use your spark igniter, turn it in the direction of the arrow to light the burner. To use the oven, select the burner for the oven, turn it to pilot. It says push and hold, and you'll push and hold that in firmly. While you're doing that, you'll need to hold a candle lighter on the pilot light underneath this shelf. Once the pilot lights, you can set the temperature on the oven using this knob. Then the main burner will light and you can bake your food. We do ask that you use a cutting board in the kitchen area for cutting meats and produce. This way it doesn't mark up the kitchen countertops. The refrigerator and freezer doors have travel latches on them. To open them, just push on this flap that says push, and you can open the door. When you close the door, you want to make sure that you hear that latch click. Otherwise, your food may come out during travel. Up here, you can see that we have the fridge on, and the auto mode is selected. In this mode, the refrigerator will automatically switch back and forth between propane power and electricity depending on what's available. If we push the gas button, it forces the refrigerator to run on gas propane only. And you can see here we have a check lamp. If the check lamp comes on, it means that the refrigerator is trying to operate but is unable to. It typically means that either your batteries are low or your propane is low. You'll need to turn the fridge off, recharge your batteries, and check your propane. After you've corrected the situation, you can turn the refrigerator back on and it will relight itself. Above the sink in the rear of the RV, we've got a thermostat that controls the furnace. To turn the furnace on, slide this switch to the left. Then you can set your temperature for the furnace using this slide knob right here. Then the furnace will heat the coach to the desired temperature that you've set on the thermostat. The furnace requires battery power and propane. If either becomes low, the furnace will blow cold air continuously until the batteries are completely dead. You want to make sure that if you're dry camping, you run your generator adequately to charge your batteries. That way you'll have heat all night. On the ceiling just above the kitchen is a roof-mounted air conditioner. This air conditioner requires either 30 amp shore power or to have the generator on the RV running. You can run the generator to support the air conditioner while you're traveling. Keep in mind, the generator requires a minimum of a quarter tank of fuel in the main fuel tank to operate. In In the rear of the RV is our bathroom. In here we've got our shower and step flush toilet. We recommend using septic safe or RV toilet paper to prevent clogging in the toilet. Behind the main entry door is our propane tank. On the tank you've got a gauge, the yellow fill cap, and our main valve. You want to keep the valve open so that your propane appliances have access to propane so they can operate properly. After refueling, you'll have to reopen that valve, as most fuel attendants close the valve during the refueling process. For safety, all of the tires on the RV will be inflated to the recommended inflation pressure that's listed on the sidewall of each tire prior to your departure. We recommend checking your tire pressures and doing a visual inspection on your tires daily or when you stop for fuel. Towards the right rear of the RV we have our freshwater gravity fill. To refill the onboard water tank, use the key to open this hatch. You can remove the cap and put a hose just inside this fill opening. Turn the water on, and when the water splashes out, you know that the tank is full. The tank will be full when you pick up the RV. At the left rear of the RV, we have our shore power hookup. You can open this compartment, and in here you can see we've got a generator power outlet. The RV plug is currently connected to the power outlet from the generator. I'm going to disconnect that right now. This is a 30 amp connector. There's approximately 20 feet of cord wound up inside this compartment. You can plug the 30 amp connector into a 30 amp shore power outlet. If you're parked at a house or have access to a 20 amp connector, such as a residential outlet or a residential extension cord, you can use this adapter to convert the 30 amp connector to a 20 amp connector. A 20 amp connection will not support the onboard air conditioner. You'll need 30 amps minimum to run the air conditioner that's on the roof. When you're not hooked up to shore power, you need to have this 30 amp connector plugged into the generator outlet. That way when you run the generator, it will power the RV. On the left rear corner of the motorhome, we have a city water inlet. You can remove this cover and hook up a hose to this inlet. Hook the other end up to a water outlet and turn the water on. This pressurizes the water lines on board the RV and allows you an unlimited water supply through the hose. It does not fill your freshwater tank, and there is an included hose on board the RV. Rotate the cap counterclockwise, and then it will remove from the pipe. You can hook up your sewer hose in place of the cap, turn it clockwise to lock it on. Now you've got two valves. This valve right here is for your black water, so once you have your sewer hose hooked up to the RV and into the wastewater receptacle at the RV park or dump facility, you can open your black water valve. That will empty your toilet water. When that's finished emptying, you can close your valve and then open your gray water valve. That will empty your soapy sink and shower water. You do that second because it rinses the hose out, makes it a whole lot nicer to put away. The mistake you don't want to make while parked at an RV park is leave your valves open. You want to keep them closed until it's time to empty your tanks. This prevents accidental clogging and odors coming from the sewer system. To access the generator breakers or to check the oil, you need to remove this panel. but the panel needs to remain in place while the generator is running to prevent overheating because it is air cooled. To remove the panel, just take these black knobs, twist them to the open position, and then you can remove this cover. Inside the cover here, we've got a circuit breaker, and it's located right here. You can see it's pointed out or towards the driver's side. That's the on position. If you overload the breaker will trip, just like a house. You can see it says off right now. You'll have to reset it manually, so you can come out here, turn the breaker on. That will restore electricity. You'll notice that if you trip the breaker, the generator will continue to run, but you won't have electricity on board. You can also check the oil right here with this dipstick and refill it. And again, make sure you have the cover in place if the generator is running. If you're dry camping and you don't have electrical hookups for the RV, we recommend that you run the generator a minimum of 2 hours a day to maintain your batteries. If your batteries get low, your battery-powered appliances like your water pump, your lights, and especially your refrigerator and furnace will start to malfunction. So you'll want to make sure that you maintain your batteries with your generator.